Hello, Zach Wolf, and welcome to your deck review, and the first deck review that actually has background music. I thought I turned this on 2 months ago, but forgot to update my OBS recording settings. So if you guys do or don't like it, let me know in the comments. For those of you who have no idea what's going on here, this is a series where I, Maultown, talk calmly and politely about your deck's PP. Your PP is your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. This one is meld. Your practicum is the stuff you put in the 99 and whether or not it helps you achieve that idea. So we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about whether or not this person's idea of what they want their deck to do is appropriate for their bracket, and then how we can make it actually work. And what they want to do is play the big furry monster, which is not a legal card, but with the power of a transparent conversation with your friends about how you like to have fun, can be legal at your commander table. This is a 99.99. We must play both BFM cards to put BFM into play. If either BFM card leaves, sacrifice the other. So I don't actually know the legality of putting the left half of BFM into play. I'm not sure how it works. I'm sure you have maybe rule zeroed that. You said it's an OG meld. I'm not sure about the legality of putting it into play. Thankfully, the legality of putting it into play is not what's at stake here or the issue here. The issue here is you said we want to multiply 1,000,000 enchantments to make him huge, and that is why Ulalek is the commander. One of the cards we talk about as having a lot of fun with is agility. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 in flanking. So we have idolized. So we're Voltroning BFM, and we say the problem we're having is that I have way too many cards committed to the Ulalek game plan, which makes a ton of sense to me because this is like the most unrelated thing I could think of in the world. I'm not sure how we got here. It feels a lot like having a rock concert at an Olive Garden. Like Olive Garden, great. No, sorry, he's Olive Garden because he got those breadstick elbows. Olive Garden, great. Love it on a Friday. BFM, great. Why are they kissing? I don't get it. So let's try to dig into that a little bit because we seem to have number go up syndrome. And that's a very normal thing to have. Every Simic player in Commander has it. We have to put some kind of brakes on it because you're talking about, oh, I want to meld BFM. I want to make... Guys, this person talks about 32 copies of agility. They're talking about +32, +32, and 32 instances of flanking. Be real with me, dog. Why do we need that? He's a 99.99. Like, we're talking about trampling over with a big guy. He's already so big. I don't understand why we're putting elements of the deck towards him trampling and being even bigger unless we have a specific goal in mind. Because if we're just going, I want to hit you with the biggest thing you've ever seen. Already done, dog. Already done. We could do like a Golgari +1/+1 counter game plan, and so I'm seeking to understand what the dream is. Like we could tape swords to this guy. Like it's very easy to give a really big creature trample, and all I see that we need for this guy, we need 1,000,000 black mana. We can do that with rituals. We can do that with like a chromatic orrery. You could do that by playing Keurig and then exploding when you play all your life for it. But instead, we also have not enough lands to win with Maze's End and then Maze's End. So I feel like what's happened here is we've combined 2, maybe 3 different dreams into one deck, and those decks always fall flat. We have to focus on one dream. So if the one dream is I'm going to play this big impossible shithead and then I'm going to hit you with him, we can definitely do that. Golgari Commander right now. Golgari Commander, I wouldn't do Rakdos. I want access to green just to ramp because you're going to need 1,000,000 lands, and we need all these lands to produce black mana. You could do it in mono black. I don't think it's impossible to rule zero this guy as your commander, and do some stuff with like, you know, Cabal Coffers, Urborg turns everything into a swamp. There's a couple other like black mana force multipliers like Cryptcast. There's other like Scepter of Eternal Glory. Yeah, there's a lot of tricks to make a lot of mana of one single color, and this was like a hilarious amount of mana when it was created. Not an unreasonable amount of mana to achieve in your commander game nowadays. My buddy Ricky, they make this much black mana every other Thursday. That's why we don't talk anymore. But we're recasting stuff. We're trying to make Eldrazi instant so we can trigger this guy. Fun. Do art stickers, we can do twinning staff. We have like really little ramp actually. Presumably because it's all trying to feed into this like Ulalek game plan. To make sure we're not missing a different primer. Gotta keep the meld, but meld is a must. Thematically, for the cards themselves, like Mjolnir, Joda's Codex, it's pretty. Roxy, I bought the stickers in clear sleeves, Martial Law, and Calidus Assassin. And actually stopping everyone with the Martial Law declaration. Let me find Martial Law. What the fuck? Roxy and Mjolnir and Agility are all must keeps. At the beginning of your upkeep, detain target creature and opponent controls. Oh, okay. I understand now. This is a deck meant to play every card that you find funny. I understand those decks. They never work. They won't. I'm going to spare you. You may not wish to believe me now. You will believe me in 2 years. Maybe it'll take 5, depending on how much Commander you play. These decks are... It's like circular logic. Like because you have built them to support 5 different gimmicks that have like nothing to do with each other, right? We have a thing that cares about stickers. We care about like a creature entering the battlefield. We care about an equipment, and we care about attacking, and we care about tapping creatures. We care about an enchantment that doesn't tap creatures but prevents them from attacking or blocking or using their abilities. Like this is a stacks piece. And these are all cool. It's very funny to like if you make 30 copies of Martial Law and then say, hey, none of your creatures can do anything. Ha 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 ha. I can definitely visualize pods where that is a funny way to win, right? You go like, okay, you can't do anything, and now the big furry monster is going to come in and hit you. Commander decks really only get to celebrate 1 or 2 of those at a time. And work. You can celebrate all of these things, and they will oftentimes fail to work. But every new thing you celebrate makes the likelihood that one celebration goes wrong higher and higher. Think of it like planning birthday parties. Your favorite card in a Commander deck is a friend you have the responsibility of planning a birthday party for. If you have a week to plan one friend's birthday party, probably go great. I don't know what your budget is. I don't know where you live, what type of stuff is in your area to do that's fun, how many drugs you like, but you'll do something. If you have to plan 5 different birthday parties in 1 week, how good can each individual birthday party be, right? You run into a limit of you spread yourself thin very, very quickly, and the deck is going to spread itself thin very, very quickly as well. So if we want to be, that said, I'm still going to try to help you do this as best as we can, because I don't want to leave you with just like, hey, kill everything you love. The way for this to like work totally is you have to make different decks for different birthday parties. You can normally have an easier time supporting things if you all care about the same card super type. So there is a Jeskai Flicker deck that could utilize Monk, Gyatso, and Roxy, and just put stickers all over everything. And that like a Jeskai deck could probably utilize Twinning Staff as well and double some other stuff. There is a different Enchantress deck that only cares about copying as many enchantments as possible. Sorry about that. that cares about copying as many enchantments as possible. There is and then like agility can go in that deck, martial law can go in that deck, angelic benediction can go in that deck, but it is difficult to balance doing that birthday party and figuring out all of the ramp we need for BFM and all the protection we need for BFM, and then trying to like throw Roxy in on the back end too, right? So the stuff that I would recommend, card draw that's good, number one. Our card draw here is really, really, really bad. And this is a very common thing when you have a deck that is like, this is just all the stuff that I think is funny. Every card I think is funny, all in one deck. Huzzah. Normally, the goofier your bit is, the more responsible you have to be in your supporting of it. It doesn't mean that you have to use expensive cards. You don't have to use game changers. You don't have to like, I have an infinite combo because my deck's silly. But it's like, if your deck is really silly and you need a lot of pieces to make it work, it means our card draw has to be unerringly consistent. We have to be really, really confident in our card draw. And so there's things like Joda's Codex where it'll happen. It's a lot of mana to make it happen. It takes a long time before this really gets going. Versus like Full Reliable, hey, from potentially turn 2, extra card every turn. Even, you know, the weaker version of this, okay, turn 3, extra card every turn. I am getting the gasoline that I need to drive this car to the 6 different birthday parties I have to make it to for the end of the weekend. So the first thing I would target is change. I would replace every single piece of card draw you have in this deck. I'm trying to think about what exactly I would change it for. It would likely start with just the Phyrexian arenas of the world. Now, thankfully, you're not restrained by colors, but you want like as many things as possible that is just like, hey, one more card every turn, please. Black Market Connections. Hey, one treasure, one card every turn. Thank you kindly. You could even do Lore into the Third Path, one card every turn, and I get to make a deal with somebody so they don't counterspell BFM when he comes down. And then other stuff we could do is you could, if you don't just want to run a million boring engines, because I know that's too responsible for some people, you could look into impulses. Another problem you're going to have with this deck is like the different sections of the deck don't really speak to each other. They're like a really, really big white collar company where the people in finance aren't friends with the people in marketing, who aren't friends with the people in production, who aren't friends with the people in leadership. Like, you don't know each other. You just all go to this like massive warehouse where you sit and are sad for 8 hours. So that means there's a really high premium on being able to find the right pieces. So maybe just picking up as many cards as we can won't be enough because you still keep drawing like the wrong halves of the deck. I would heavily recommend tutors. You said prefer draw power to tutors, which is why I went draw powers first. If you really, really don't want to do tutors, I would recommend big impulse effects, like Drawn from Dreams. This will things like this will let you go pretty deep in the deck, get the stuff you need to do the funny thing, and then go along your way. And if I had to guess, I would guess that most of the stuff we've picked, we've done it because it's like activated or triggered ability that we can copy by paying 2 colorless mana. And this is another misstep that I see a lot of people make when they are trying to build a deck that has everything they love. They try to make every part of it synergistic. The reason that is a mistake in Commander is not because it is weak, it is because it gets in the way of you having fun. And the reason it gets in the way of you having fun is when everything is this beautiful Rube Goldberg machine, your only win condition, and by win condition I mean fun condition, not you actually winning the game, your only fun condition becomes every piece of the machine works. statistically, that's so unlikely. It's so difficult for that to happen. When we stake our thing happening on 6 different gears in this very delicate machinery, all turning the right way all at once, it becomes very likely that one gear breaks. And if one gear breaks, because everything is meant to support each other and hook into each other, all it takes is one gear breaking for the whole machine to go down. And so the way I like to build engines, and the reason I'm recommending all of this like boring shit that like some of it, you can copy this activated ability with Ululek too. But the reason I'm recommending is so just more like stock standard stuff that is cheap. We can get it down earlier. It doesn't necessarily synergize as like directly with all the other parts in your deck, is because then we can have an engine that we're confident in, and we're always going to get to play some amount of magic. We are always going to get to be a participant. We are always going to have an opportunity at making our big funny thing happen. And maybe the specific pieces of the dream, of 32 copies of agility hit the BFM and then I explode everybody. Maybe that doesn't happen. But now the engine works well enough that it's like, okay, but I got BFM in though. I got BFM in, and I was pretty close to copying 1,000,000 enchantments on him. Or it's like, well, I got 10 copies of martial law, and then I couldn't find BFM in time before they got out and killed me. But I did part of the thing. Like, that's how we build it up, is you have to make win conditions for yourself that are short of the big beautiful machine all working. Now the Eldrazi instance makes some degree of sense. I just really, really don't like our mana spread, all the different things we need to do. I would recommend change the draw section first. No. I would not recommend this. I think we've already got copying happening from the command zone. And it seems like we're trying to play these cards to copy Ululek's ability again, which is just too greedy by half. These cards could help us. What if we just did the thing once? It's awesome to do it once. Why must we do it 100 times or none? Isochron Scepter I actually like here, even though it's traditionally a like really, really evilly good card. Being able to put an Eldrazi instant under it so we have ready access to doing this makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like for Arcane Bombardment, you're just being copy-pilled as shit. What I would rather have is something that got those Eldrazi instants back to hand, because I want... Oh, come on. This is a Warhammer card. It is ID. Is it... Upkeep, instant sorcery, hand random. Exalted Flame. Oh, it's Flamer, not Flame. Okay. I would rather have something like this that is a really reliable engine that can get these Eldrazi instants back to my hand, because I always want to have fuel to do my main thing. And the main thing in your deck is not BFM. The main thing in this deck is I am going to copy something with Ululek. And I have like 87 different things that I think are fun, that I would like to copy. But to do that, we need one of these 9 cards. Like, it's really unlikely we draw these in every game. It's unlikely we draw more than one in most of our games. So that's at least one other direct swap I would make. I feel like you're doing Aven Interrupter for the same thing. Like, you're dropping Aven Interrupter on your own spell to plot it, which is really, really fucking funny. But there are definitely better options. Let's see what regrowth instance we have. No, we don't have to do commander. We are 5 colors. That's on upkeep. That's gonna take too long. Like, we could just get the thing back after. Because the amount of mana, and like Aven Interrupter has a use case where we can use it on our opponent's spells. We're like down in the depths of bracket 1, so I don't think this is incredibly relevant as interaction. But if you really love it as interaction, keep it. We're so distracted. And so at the end of the day, the most important thing you can do that would solve every problem you have instantly is, I have a deck that is about casting BFM and killing you with a trampling BFM. That deck is Golgari. You have another deck that is about cloning a bunch of your enchantments. That deck is probably Bant. You can do 5 color if you want to be able to include agility, because this is a very funny card. There is another deck that is like a Jeskai Flicker deck, and that would let you do like a million ETBs. You could use more of these trigger copiers. You could use more of these clones. You could get like Brago involved. You could bring in the proper support for each of these gimmicks so that every birthday party got to be awesome. But as it stands, all 6 birthday parties are happening at the same time. And if you want to try to pull off all 6 birthday parties happening at the same time, at minimum, what we have to do is make the funding correct, make the funding responsible, and the responsibility is going to come in the form of repeatable card draw that requires no other synergy to get going or to be good, and then a repeatable way to get our main value loop, which is copying something with Ulalek. And then we can kind of be off to the races. So if anybody else sees a different angle, please let me know. I just clocked how many individual meld cards we have in this deck. Oh my god. I wish you the very best of luck, and I do hope this helps.